Ed's Bigfoot. Chapter 10. We all going to die. It was quarter past midnight. The kids were at the camping site armed with their weapons. They all were half asleep. Suddenly, they all heard Sierra and Jimmy screaming. They all jumped up in fear. Jumping Jehovah. What in the same hell was that squeal? Rolf shouted panically. That sounded like Sierra, and Jimmy Double D shouted panically. Oh man, that lumpy is on a row, Eddie whispered sinisterly. Eddie, this is not a joke. There is something out there, Double D whispered worriedly. Shut it, sockhead, Eddie whispered annoyed. All of a sudden, a loud roar came bursting out from the woods. The hairs of the kids stood straight. Gee, I didn't know Ed had those kindalongs, Eddie whispered nervously. I don't about you dudes, but you all can fight off this thing. I'm getting the hell out of here, Nez shouted panically. You know what? I'm right behind you, Nez, Kevin replied panically. As a son of a shepherd, I say, run like the wind, Rolf shouted panically. Wait, don't go. You seriously going to let this creature ruin our camping trip? Eddie shouted annoyed. How about you, sockhead? Eddie asked. Eddie noticed Double D was gone. Eddie looked back and saw Double D running with the other kids. Where the hell are you going? Eddie shouted angrily. Fine, go on ahead. I'm staying put, Eddie shouted angrily. Eddie went back into his tent. Meanwhile, the kids were running out of the camping area. Just a little further. I think the exit trail is just ahead of us, Double D replied panically. All of a sudden, they all stopped in their tracks. Whoa, Kevin gasped in shock. The path was completely blocked by dozens of large trees. We're trapped, Nez gasped panically. All of a sudden, a large shadow covered the kids. They all looked to the left and looked up in shock. It was the creature. The creature let out a loud roar. The kids screamed in horror.